Is it good?
Well,
Oh, what a disappointment every time.
I don't.
I
And then
think
when we go off air, it works every time.
lasers everywhere. Hi, everybody. We're just trying to get some lasers to work. It's the best part of the show. Welcome to the Daily Fix. I am with Canna Crypto Pope. I'm with Chris D. And Primo's in the background somewhere listening to our voices. I'm sure he's sick of us already. How's everyone doing down there?
Fabulous-ish. Fabulous-ish. We'll get into the ish a little later.
Some ish moments today.
There's been some ish moments. It was a birth of something, if we may.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that a little later.
Perfect. I'm glad you're trying to see the upside. Appreciate you. Chris, you doing okay over there?
I'm
We
doing
missed you yesterday.
About as good as a 40-year-old man who stayed out till 5 a.m. partying with a bunch of degens could be doing. I got 3 hours of sleep, took the kids to school, came back, power slept for like 3 more hours, and I've been doing pretty damn good. I had a pretty productive day. So, and now we're here. We're going to wrap up the week with a killer daily fix.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen some of the stuff that's going on in the markets is like, there are some pretty dramatic candles going up and down. So yeah, right. It's been riveting. I was at Pope's house today and we had the timer going on and walk around, come back, rivet it again, leave, come back. So it was a nice little system we had going on today. So speaking of the market, Pope, let's do market cap, dominance, etc. How about that?
Throw me on the stage. When I know I'm on stage, I'll drop right in.
Excellent. And also hello to everybody while we're figuring that out.
Yeah, from here on in, I don't get to see anybody, or I don't know if you can see me, but let's get right into it. It was exciting. Oh God, was it fun? And we can see what we've talked about because we've always left our TA from the week on the actual chart. Unless we break it, we create new TA, but we still left the others. So the total market cap was amazing. It was a lot of fun last night trading it out. Supreme and I were up. It was just like old times. And at first I thought we were actually talking in our Discord, not private DMs. And it just felt like the old days. Like we're peppering each other back and forth with the total market cap right now is at, 1.55. And then you would see it in like seconds, 157, Dom dropping. And we're keeping each other to date while we were watching charts and we were chasing these small percentages. And when we say money moves in this market and you need to follow the money, if you happen to be in, and you're not going to be there every time it happens, I get that. You can set alerts if you want and all that. I use a timer because so many beeps happen out of this thing. But let's have just a quick look. This is obviously today, but from yesterday, the bottom wick, as far as we got down to the most top, where is it? Right there, right? $91.95 billion, almost 100 B for the day. But let's look at when it came in. I mean, if you waited too long, it was too late. And that's why FOMO will kill you in this game. Because if you miss this stuff down here, and by the time you hear of it is say in here or in here, and you don't know at that point it's overbought and it's coming down, your exit liquidity, because you'll be sheep and you'll either fear sell or you won't have enough money to go dollar cost entry, and perfect example of healthy retracements from a lot of money. And you can see on the right of the screen here, when we're talking about this, 1.54 to 1.5567. And we knew this was going to be coming because we just came up that fast. That's huge money. That's hundreds of billions of dollars. So if you get situated in a trade right before that happens, or if you don't, you're a few minutes behind, you can see it rocketing. don't take the trade. Just wait for the pullback, then get in the trade, especially if our tools are telling you it has legs to run. And that's what Supreme and I were doing last night. We'll get into that a little bit. So if we go back to how we typically look at it, or on the 4-hour or the daily, here's all of our past analysis. And we said we wanted to break this channel, and that we knew we were coming up to consolidation in here because of our critical fear. And because, as we always talk about, the micro bear is coming to an end, because we're seeing that curl and consolidation, and we got the cross. Now, this line squiggle here was probably down on a lower time frame, but what we were saying is, oh, this was from the daily, not the lower. This is when we called this one like perfect. Love this shit. That we need to retest and get out, and we were probably going to have a swoop. Well, also what I always say, we know what it's going to do. We just don't know when. And sometimes it might take a few days to have that retracement back up. Sometimes it happens in a matter of hours. And that's why we always say, follow the money flow. And if you notice how to watch total market cap and dominance at the same time while you're trading, first off, it's a hell of a rush. But second, you get that much more confluence, that much more agreement to what you're doing is a wise decision. And when you apply this understanding of how the total market cap and the money flows, it's going to give you that extra little bit of percentages in your trading. And we already know what 1% with $1,000 a day turns into. And we're catching more than 1%. Now, this is the market cap of the 9015B, but not a coin. So let's look at the dominance. How does dominance react to this kind of shit? I mean, like, okay, so we were a little off on the how fast and how high, but I mean, we've called that spread, and we were hoping for the dip because we want our alts to go up. We knew we'd probably be hopeful thinking there. But I am just kind of curious out of my own. I haven't looked at this since I looked at it with you. So there we were yesterday. Why won't you let me replay it? Ah, right, it's dominance. Won't let you do that. Well, we can see how long we've been calling it by the length of our things, right? And we got the spread, and we talked about we were hoping to go down because we want our alts to run. But you can see how fast dominance was going down and running into the alts. When we're talking little percent here, and you're starting to see what little percent can do. This is on $1,000. This is 1% of a $1.5 trillion market cap that's coming out, because dominance is all the money of that market cap that's in Bitcoin. So take 1% of all the Bitcoin and put it into the alts. That's why they run like crazy, because they're typically a lot cheaper. Let's be honest. It's a 5-figure asset versus sometimes pennies or dollars or hundreds of dollars. You know, so we're now seeing on our indicator of critical greed. If you would have just hit this here and go, and we can always compare who hit it first. Confluence. I mean, they completely missed it. Very similar, both lined up there. That's nice, right? You can see all the different pressure. We'll get into that later. So this was really nice. And when you watch the market cap just stay perfectly still for like 15 minutes, and you see the DOM coming down, the next thing you notice on your watch list it just becomes all these greens. Let's go to the greens, right? You can start seeing everything starting to run. And it's exciting. Now you're looking for the ones you've already laid out and you've been hunting and that kind of a thing. So where does that take us with Bitcoin? Same thing. Haven't looked at it since we touched it. Would have gone diluted mess, but it's actually doing what was one of our strategies. We knew we had the parallel touches. One parallel channel with the 3 touches. 1, 2, 3. We broke out. Like we said, with this squiggle that we wanted to. Now we need to retest. It'd be great to get into here and hold in here, because then we're back in this consolidation zone that we've been talking about, where the majority of the price action has been and where the chicken littles panic.
Can I ask a question?
Fire away.
Do you have to retest do you have to retest into the parallel channel, or can you retest just out of the that little box you got there, that little consolidation box?
What we're going to do here, so the channel we're looking at is this blue channel.
Mm-hmm.
So to get out of what we use a retest for is to get out of this downward path. We are not breaking this down. We're on this trajectory, right? When you break that downward path, it obviously comes out. A retest means, and that's what this squiggle was, a retest means it needs to come down and settle outside of this channel and then go.
Right.
If not, it's just coming right back down. And usually if not, it comes down faster and harder. And I mean, we could go back and find some for sure. But what have we done? Well, what Bitcoin does, it just plows when it wants to, and then little consolidates. So here we go. And it's going to make sense that we should hold this line. I'd be shocked if we don't. I've been saying we're going to be in the very high, 30s, 38, 39, and low 40s, 40, 41 is where we're at. And we're probably going to pull down here and test this bottom consolidation zone. Look how many times we do. Of course, we're going to test it. They're going to be fighting each other like crazy. I'm just trying to look if there's any formations. Sorry. But when we go back in time, we can see we were drawing. We want to see this curl. We want to see the retest, get out, and retest this line. Because if we don't retest here, we said we'd most likely fall to this. And right now, we're completely playing that pattern out. We're just doing it a lot sooner, faster. All right. So I'm just going to discard that. It's Friday. Bye-bye. And that was just saying we could go down to this level of support, which always makes sense. And if we don't break out retest, we continue to go down in the channel. Does that make sense?
It sure does to me. That curl that came up pretty quick, I noticed.
Right. And that was because of the major influx of money. That was not a small amount of money. Where were we yesterday? We were right here. Right. So we didn't know anything here when we talked last night. And we drew these in. We said, we want to see this. Then we want to see it take off and retest out of here because we've been going down. And then we want to retest in here because we want to stay in this consolidation zone. I mean, the lines are damn near. I mean, it went up a little more, but you get my point. We're in, now we're consolidated.
Mm-hmm. And that new candle is only what, 2 hours old? So
yeah. 2
so
hours,
it's
minutes.
Because I think we were on the daily, right? So yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens throughout the next 24 hours, and then the weekend. Can't wait to follow up on this weekend. Yeah.
We always know less trading on the weekends, especially long weekends if it's a holiday somewhere. So when do you think we're going to probably retest the support? The weekend?
Probably not.
And we can already see kind of happen here, probably happen here, and then hopefully we're off to the races up in here. Let's chart that for Monday. So the next couple days, we'll probably see this kind of a thing, and then we'll probably go up to there, maybe over up to that level, hopefully over, but the same thing. We need to break out, get above this line and retest. That's the retest. Because if we don't, you can see here, we got above it. Well, that's not a retest. We broke it. Our next one is the retest. Look at it. We didn't make it. When I say you miss a retest, look how fast that fell. You missed a retest here. You didn't break out. Look how fast and how much that fell. When you're broken out of a downward or upward trend, because this works inversely, that movement is significant. And it's just recognizing as you go those kind of things that you can go, oh shit, this didn't break and this is going to go. I would have my stop loss in literally for probably somewhere in here if I was in profits, which I'd hope to be, because you'd be riding the micro bull. So same thing, Bitcoin. We're going to be fighting around that probably, you know, a couple of wicks will come down to that area. And here's the 41s, low 100s. And we're going to, you know, probably have that as our resistance of where we're at now. High 41s to 42. So that's what I'm saying. I'm seeing, I should say. So I'll save that and let's get on to Ethereum. I love this shit. And I think we did the replay on how these lined up from when we drew them. Oh, no, that was yesterday's show. Never mind. Just going to line this up a little better for everybody. So yesterday, we were noticing we got the cross on Thursday. We knew when we got this, we broke out, retested. We absolutely retested here. And then we made it and it just went down. But this was the whole Grayscale, you know, selling $900 million of Bitcoin to Coinbase. The whole market chat. So this makes sense. We probably would have went up, and I said that yesterday. But because we didn't, we're now going through that micro bear, micro bull. We're coming in to contest the level of consolidation support. And we said if we lost it, we'd probably be down into this region. You know, the wicket, try to wick out all the stop losses. But right now we've broken out. This is our retest candle. This candle has to stay above this line. If it does, high statistical odds, it's running. And so that's why if you watched my TA on the telly the other night or the stream, and I'm going to do one later tonight after dinner again, because I got a lot to do to get ready myself. I'll put, just using this as an example, where I'm looking for that retest, right? So somewhere in this range, it's locking. I hate when it does this. In this area, from the support to breaking the downtrend, this is where I want my entry. This is where I'm going to be watching in this area. And we can kind of see the downtrend and the support. So if this lands above it, our next candle is going to have resistance here. It's going to have resistance here. It's going to have resistance here. But we're off to the races. 2.59, 5.05, 7.89. Patience with your money. Patience with your capital. Be patient with your money. You'll stack it when you understand how to use these tools. And that's why we say we're always stacking percentages. So that there is always the start of the show. We always like to go over the most important things. So, you know, if you have life and you want to go fuck off for the weekend, have a great weekend. See you on Monday. But if you want to stick around and look at all the coins we've talked about for the week, they are up next. And once you put these in, that's what I like to do. You know, you can have them watching and you can know that this is your target area and you can be watching it while you have it on the telly or on the computer screen or whatever, you know, and try to make it somewhat so you can see and understand. There we are. So Casper has been doing everything we said it was going to do from the day Amir introduced it. And we said from this day here to, for lack of better terms, short the fuck out of it. And if you followed that, you did very well. And this curve is what we said we were looking for. And it pretty much looks like the consolidation we want to see, that we still want to stay on this trend line. We want to walk it up, retest this channel. And then if we do that, we're no longer shorting Casper. We're longing Casper. So if we can get somewhere out of this channel and walk up here, we have a good chance for a long entry, which is looking where our bottom of the curve is. What we drew just based on the information we're seeing at the time. I won't go into it each time. So Casper now is starting to look good. If people want me to keep visiting this, I will. And it is an entry, so it might not be a bad idea because we're getting a lot of data and get to know it. Right here, I'm going to save that so we can readjust it if we do. The other ones we've talked about a lot are Gala Games. Showbiz wanted us to do Sui, and I missed it that night, so I put it on the show for them. Happy Friday. Every day is Friday. Let's get into Gala. Targaryen, I hope that's how you say it. If you kept your entry where you told us with the patience, and hopefully you did, that was a great return. Like we said, who saw that billions of dollars flushing into where did the money come in? Right. So in 4 days, it went up 8.6. Knowing what we understand with the ins and outs, that's quite impressive. If our goal is 1 a day, 4 days over, it's not 4% because it's compounding. That's definitely beating it. But that's not part of the strategy, because these kind of candles, they happen, but we want to follow our formations to understand what's happening. So this was, I love Gala. I've always been bad. And so we've clearly gone through these percentages, but we were looking at the risk from this line of entry, and look where it got to. It even got lower, but this is when we know they're gold lines, this was done on the weekly. So that's strong. It beat strong, but hence our critical fear kicked in. If you would have done our critical fear to the most recent high, even though we're getting the spread, selling now would not be the best idea. 8.6% 4 days. I would probably wait, if you wanted to get into Gala, for the retracement over the weekend. It's going to pop down. You can get in. I love when it drops when I say that. You can get in on a retracement on a level of support, most likely somewhere in here or in here. This one's stronger. Right? Will it drop that much in a weekend? I don't know, but I'd be watching it, because when we have the spread, we know we're probably going to take off. And I mean, the last level to where it was, let's go up to the next main level of resistance there. Current price there, 1%. There, 2.17. And then the next one there, 5.25. But we know there's going to be flows. It's not going to just, sometimes yes. But it takes an injection of a fuck ton of capital to make these big pumps. Shit tokens, no. These big pumps happen like candles that you wouldn't believe, but it's a shit token. The majority of the people that are pumping it are taking your money. I'm not saying you can't win every now and then. This is calculated, statistical, good project, good team, smart money. We've been on the downward trend for how long? We just got the cross. Cross is always boss, as I say. We made it from where we are. We know we're going to have pullback. Just say we get down to this level of, which looking like level of support here, and we go to the most recent high with this run. That's 24%, 23.98, cutting hairs. Brilliant. Suey, this is for you, Showbiz. This is for you. All right, where was yesterday? Jesus Christ. That was yesterday right there. So this is Wednesday. Thursday, we could probably go ahead one day. I miscut that. But we were looking at the possibility if it was coming down, we were going to be losing 9%. But if it was going up to our level of resistance, we were looking at a possible gain of 16.8. Now, I just where these two are put, I can tell obviously this is where the price ended up somewhere because we're counting down from this target.
Do you have a second? Whenever you have a second, Anna America has a question for you, just about the location of the cross. Does the location of the cross on the price line mean anything? Is it always below the candle? Is it just to see it better, or is it to suggest waiting a retracement at that price?
So great question, first off. And when you get, I'm just going to zoom out here and we'll go back to the replay. So here we can see one right there. So we'll zoom into that. Actually, we'd see a few here now.
It sounds like she was referring to Gala, but let's pop in here and just take a look at.
It doesn't matter. It's the same theory on any token.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to give you my, the secret sauce on the algo, right? But there's definitely numbers here that measure all the back test of time. And it's varied between the two sets. Took a while to figure out for me to find the right numbers and then really figure out how to use them. And that's the birth of the micro bear, micro bull tool. So your statistical odds of when these fire, you can see how that's not covering. It disappears. That's a layer issue. So you can click on it and now you can see all the little blue dots and the crosses light up. You can right click it, visual order, bring to front. So now they show up a lot. They'll flash when you go over them and things like that. But now they're a lot more visible. So what these crosses represent is based on how everything normally happens. Statistical probability is what we're always playing, not hoping. When that happens, we're shifting. It's going to shift into one of three things. It's going to go from a micro bear to a micro bull, or it's going to go into consolidation. So it's either going up or down or sticking where it is. And when we have consolidation for a period of time, we know that builds pressure for a breakout, and it's either going up or down. And that's why we look at supports, resist patterns to better determine buy-sell pressure. We'll get into order books later. And then you can really start to look at making better educated decisions. But so if we go back, let's just look, let's isolate the tool. Great question. I don't mind doing this. I love this shit. So now that's the only tool we're using or seeing. Whoops. Oh, this is a young token. Let's do Gala then. My bad. I didn't remember that this was a young token. And I have my glasses. Gala's got some nice age to it. I'm just going to erase everything. Start from scratch. All right, we're going to take off our Bollinger Bands. We're leaving our micro bears in our bowl. We're going to take away our critical feared. We're going to take away our take profit target, and the rest are already off. So the theory of this indicator is there's no such thing as this. Straight up or straight down. Doesn't work. Thank you for your patience. We know in any downtrend, there's ups and downs. Same with any uptrend. There's ups and downs. We want those. That's healthy. That's why when you get sometimes into these runs and you can start to understand how this tool works, you be patient. Don't do what the sheep do and panic sell, because our tools are telling you we're going up. So let's zoom just in this area because we have a few of them firing and we have ups and downs and we have consolidation blocks. Never be afraid to zoom. You get more information when you zoom. You can see the spread. So how this tool works is when you're, it doesn't matter if you're in a micro bear or a micro bull. When these lines start to spread apart, that was really bad. My mouse hack's funny on this pad. I got to get a better one. But you get, hopefully you get my point. Once these lines start to spread apart and the space in between them gets bigger, you get bigger price action. And that's true of downward as well, right? We can see this spread between these lines is getting bigger. We're getting bigger downward price action. So typically, if we were only using this indicator and not using any other for Confluence giving us basically it's another indication saying the same thing that you're looking for or getting the information of. The more indicators that say yes, and we're like, if they all say yes, get in the trade. That's Confluence. When they start to curl, and that's why I'm always talking about these curls, that's our indication that we're no longer doing this. And as soon as we start to curl and these lines get close, we start to see consolidation. And typically, when you've had a high, we're going to have price that goes down. It would make sense. And we can see that's our support. So this curl is telling you when it happens, price is going to be on the movement down. But you can see you're not getting that until later. So it is still a little delayed. And we know that we want healthy ups and retracements. I mean, we're just keeping support and doing parallel channels right now. And here we broke support. It's almost looking like a, hold on. Could that be a little inverse head and shoulder? You were looking for it. No, it looks like more of, yeah, almost a shitty double bottom. But so this tool is so powerful because of that. And the crosses indicate when it's going to switch. The space between the lines indicates price volatility. Down lines, price going down. The more spread they are. That's what I said up here. We're just starting to spread. How do you think I knew to say short the fuck out of this? We just came off a big gain consolidation. It's going down because we got the cross. And we know we're going to stop at all these little stops on the way. Let's say we didn't get the best. Let's say we got it down here after the show. All right? You wanted to wait for the curl? Oops, it wasn't 3 days. You know, maybe got out there. It's still 13.6% in just over a week. All just by understanding, excuse me, this one tool. I hope that makes sense.
I mean, I like it. I dug it
Cool.
a lot, but let's if any more comments about it come up, then we can enter back in. But made a lot of sense to me.
Sweet.
And Showbiz is here.
Hey, well, if Showbiz is here, Showbiz, this one's for you. Let's do Suey. We were just on it. We were saying it's for you, and you show up. Good timing, brother. All right. So on the daily, we are clearly in a downwards trend until this point. When was that? October. Right around when we started going. Cool. I just want to make sure I'm on the right tool. Look what happened. So we marked this up quickly yesterday together. We dropped support and resistance on different time frames. We talked about a possible cup and handle. In the video that's posted in our channel or on Twitter, I commented underneath it with a picture of the cup and handle. Now we're going to have a down pull. Where do you think we're going to have that down pull? I don't know, probably do a weekly support, probably an up pull, you know, maybe down to here and consolidate. But the path down is what a cup and handle is about. And it'll, you know, bounce that way, consolidate, then hopefully go off. That's typically what a cup and handle does. But you can see where we were in replay still. That's just from the weekly. So here's yesterday. And we know we're in here because we put the money here. We were talking about that earlier. That's just where I cut it. So let's play. Right up to the top. And I bet you if we go across this red line, we're going to find that support and resistance. This big, thick this big, thick gold line here. Let's make this, that'll delete everything. We can start to see how this cup and handle looks. If I touch anything, it's going to bring all that shit back. So we're going up. We've had that pullback, but we've gone up. We're at an all-time high area outside of launch. Kind of stands to reason. We're probably going to pull back in this area, maybe this area, maybe this area again. And when we look at it over here, we can see we were here. And this is support. Was here, or so rather resistance, support here. Right? Where does this end up? Oh, right. We're up here. It's going to make sense. We're going to have a pull down. I bet you that pull down is going to be somewhere in here. And, you know, now maybe some news comes out and we get another $900 billion injected into the market in a few hours and it'll take off. That's always another possibility. Absolutely. Right. But when we laid it out yesterday, we saw all these opportunities between these levels of support and resistance. So, I mean, goddamn, if you got in here right now, you're up 16.8%. And I was even saying to Showbiz, I've been hearing a ton about this coin. Now I understand why, because when we marked this up yesterday, we can see that its runs are typically double digits. and they typically don't last long to get to those double digits. Right now, understanding what we were just talking about with the micro bear and micro bull tool, and we're looking at all the clusterfuck from the week drawings. Actually, I'll take those off right now. Healthy retracement. I mean, we broke, what is that? You know, got all the way up to 25%, pulled down to 21 right now, went all the way down to 20. And it's asking here, goddamn right, you took profits. And where do you think this will settle at? We have 3 touches on a parallel channel up now. Remember, parallel channels work in either direction. Of course we're high. If you got in down here, boom. Is it this one? 32%. Now it's obviously not one day. It's 4. Psst, damn it. Right.
I've been hearing you say damn it a lot lately in the last little while.
Well, while I'm doing TA, I'm always like, oh, beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
But I have found some, and we can see and we can kind of guess that, knowing we're going to have some pullback, that these are actually going to start to curl. Pullback is healthy. Right. But we might be in a downward channel now. I wouldn't be surprised, and we'll leave this here, if we start to go this way. Let's see how this plays out. I wouldn't want these lines as how it's going to play out, though. I was using that for example, not how I thought. But now I'll do that. So this is our daily all-time high, and this candle's not done. It's done in 20 hours. And the reason we know that is, I was walking through the strategy of, we use the thicker lines, different colors for different time frames. Gold is a weekly. Weekly support and resistance has way more strength than daily. But when the lines are thicker like that, that's the all-time daily high. Thicker gold line here, that's the all-time weekly high. It showed support on that. Here it didn't. It just went right through it either direction. Support on this weekly. It would make sense there'll be some pullback. It'll make sense people took profit. It'll be a question of whether or not it holds the weekly. It didn't here, but it did here. So we'll leave that to kind of play it out and see how that goes. Stacks, the one we've been, I'm noticing we got 15 minutes. Stacks, I keep talking about as one of my faves for the last little while. And this is the one we said, you know, you can watch the video from when we called this. Hold on, I just grabbed the wrong date. Where is... I'm on the 4 hour, my bad. Yeah, there we are, roughly. This is one of the things we talked about on the show for the last little while. This is a layer 2 solution for Bitcoin. This is a phenomenal token. We have some amazing percentages from different levels of support and resistance. We have a consolidation zone of support here. I'm not going to zoom all the way back, but right. And we said we were going to see this curve. This is what we were looking for. My consolidate, worst case scenario, it would come down to this area. Now we had all cases. We had the breakout, retest, and up, which was this line here. And we said if it went up to this, it would have to hold this line. Those were our options just by looking at the data. Do I expect you to see that right away? No. That's why we're teaching. All right. So what happens when we play it out? This is we've been talking about for 15 days now. This is day 15, guys. And you can go back and check the lines. We leave it on. I'm not going to be right all the time, ever. But sometimes I'm close. Waiting for the retest. We've broken out. There's your retest. Boom, you're off to the races. You have the cross, critical fear, and you're hitting. What are we hitting? It's been fighting to get past here. Now we know on the weekend we'll probably consolidate in here. As long as we don't get that curl. But consolidating in here and taking off for next week looks like a reasonable possibility. If we get the curl, we're coming back down here. If we get the spread, we have two options. If we get the spread, we're going up to here. And we'll probably pull back, and then we're going to fight to here. We'll save that in there because I love this token.
So we just don't know how long that consolidation will be before it challenges
exactly
anything, right? Okay.
And the longer something consolidates, the more pressure it builds. You know, we can see a little consolidation block right here. All within this box is 4%. This is 4 hours. Buy short, long, short. Okay. You can stack percentages. And then now you can see there's your channel, right? So I'll be curious to see what happens. This is one, I can't remember if I marked up on the show or if this was on a TA night of me streaming.
I feel like we did it. I feel like we did it on here. I could be wrong.
We talked about the different possibilities again, just like we've been doing. We need the retest, which we don't have yet. And you can see how much it came down. This is FOMO of people that don't understand this. Right now they're panicking because, oh shit, I thought this was going to the moon. Right? But we said it's either going to curl or where this spread was is where the lines were going to go. So I'm going to take out the consolidation squiggle line, which is that one. And we were talking about our two options with this indicator that we just kind of talked about a little more. So same thing. Let's go back in time when we didn't know this information. There's our Thursday. We said it's either going to curl up or go down. What do? Just put that back there and I'll get rid of the down one it didn't do. I love this game. Where do you think we're going to resist next? Where do you think we're going to come down next? How much is that in this little fucking consolidation box? Bottom to top, 18.42%.
Even if you had just done like the red green out though, you would have had what? Was that like about 7% even just from that idea?
Yeah, right. Great call. And how long would that?
I'm guessing it's 7%.
Okay, so I'm going to say you got your indicator, you waited, make sure we were going back up. So you didn't even get the best entry. Let's say you got in here after. Right now to current, 6.96. Look at you go. Wah. Good job.
It only happens once, my friend.
So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. I always like the little recap. Oop, my bad. Sorry, Chris. And to kind of go over what we've done. Just got back from the room from Universal Studios. Cool. I get to see comments now. I get to see stuff.
Showbiz has been like posting how flippin' warm it is down south, making us Canadians like, feel bad. But I'm glad he's back in, and the first thing he does is check in with us. It makes me happy.
One of the things before we go, I don't know it all. This is not financial advice of fucking cars. And Chris has a little something to show.
Oh,
What is this?
He's so cute.
First off, that's Richard, Big White Sheep. That's my PFP with the cross through him because, we don't want to be Richard, the double entendre. Don't be a sheep and don't be a dad. And the sheep mentality. I fell for sheep mentality last night while trading with Supreme. And I had 3 trades. I got into 3 trades. 2 of my trades were over 3% trades. One got to a line of resistance or heavy resistance, maybe, that I didn't notice. And I got greedy. And I didn't want to take that 1.2%. So instead of walking out with almost 7% in an evening of trading, watching money flow come in, dominance go down, I got greedy on one trade, and all that work broke even. That greed is a sheep move. I went all the last 15 episodes, and we'll keep track. And we're going to have one of these for each one of our staff. Because we all make mistakes, and let's have some fun with it. Kind of celebrate it a little bit, and looking forward to it. That's my ramble. I mean, I did it in 54 minutes. This one we went over last time. Happy Friday. Touch grass, smoke grass, whatever it is you do. I've talked enough. I'm out. Oh, I lied. One last thing. After dinner, gonna go for dinner, and then I'll do a little TA tonight because I got to do it anyways. So if you want to tune in to some lo-fi chill, I'll have the tunes going and the TA going. Once again, thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you. I'm going to load up all these, the last 2 days of the daily fix into the module. So these will all be available for replay. But everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you guys Monday.
Bye, everybody.